became a career firefighter with the Howard County Department of Fire and Rescue Service, the chief of the medical division, or EMS, the unofficial historian of the Howard County Department of Fire and Rescue Services. Over 65,000 digital images and newspaper articles, magazine articles, etc.
Episode 25-13, The Man, The Legend, The Chief, Richard W. Shaw. The other day, Ken Brown and I had the distinct pleasure of visiting Chief Shaw at his home this past Monday, May 31st, 2025. We certainly had an engaging conversation, reminiscing old times, etc. And this particular podcast will just be essentially random images of Chief Shaw throughout his life and throughout his career. The first image that we're looking at is Chief Shaw himself when he was about 8 years of age. It's remarkable as you look at this picture how much he didn't change over his lifetime. Chief Shaw is 92 or so. Forgive me for not remembering his exact age, but when you look at this picture and you look at Chief Shaw today, not a whole lot has changed, which is rather remarkable. This image is of his wife Dottie when she's about 3 years old with one of her favorite things. That's an ice cream cone. This is an image of the county fire service receiving a new fire engine back in the day. Left to right will be Chief Marty Lepore, then Chief Richard Shaw, the then county executive Hugh Nichols, and finally Chief Raymond Faith. This is a fire scene in the Sauvage area of the county on Route 32, I do believe, with Chief Shaw on the left talking with the incident commander, Chief Grimes, on the right. An image of the Hall of Fame induction of Chief Shipley. Back in the day, this occurred on June 16th, 1987, with Chief Shaw on the left and the recipient of B.H. Shipley Jr. on the right. Newspaper article on July 20th, 1985, declaring that the next fire chief will be Chief Shaw, as Chief Austin was leaving Howard County to go to the Tampa Fire Department in Florida. January 11th, 1980, a blaze at a lumber company, once again in the Sauvage area of the county, with Chief Ernie Foster and Chief Richard Shaw surveying the fire scene. It was a rather spectacular fire, if I do remember. The fearsome foursome of the Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department. As you look at the image, top left is Chief Shaw, Jerry Blaney to the right, Bob Marshall on the lower left-hand side, and Flash Gordon on the lower right. 1969, Chief Shaw with the then Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department. He may have been at the rank of captain within the Clarksville system at the time that this image was taken. This image is of Main Street in Ellicott City, 1985 Main Street fire. On the far left is Chief Shaw, then Chief John Klein, Chief William Austin, and I believe Jeff King, a lieutenant at that time, on the Main Street fire. Chief Shaw sitting with the troops, drinking coffee, presume in the morning. Chief Shaw is the gentleman in the white shirt, and to his immediate left, I believe, is David Huff, and I believe then Jerry Blaney. Fire Administrator Bob Moore is the gentleman in the suit, and standing next to Chief Shaw out front of the Columbia Fire Station, Banneker Station number 7. Apparently a brand new ambulance, medic unit 75. A training session that was down at the Johns Hopkins Applied Physics Lab. I'm going to say it in the late 60s, possibly 69, maybe 70. Chief Shaw, you can see, is the second from the right. The volunteer chief of the Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department at that time was Chief Spangler, the gentleman sort of in the center in the suit with his arms folded. Chief Shaw on the left and Chief Alan Grimes on the right. Again, I believe this is a blaze, a fatal fire, if I remember correctly, on Route 32 in the Sauvage area of the county. This is an image taken in 1970 or so. What we're looking at is a shed on fire, playhouse on fire off of Old Annapolis Road, off of Centennial Lane. Chief Shaw handling a hose line to extinguish the blaze. This image is of the two-alarm fire in Normandy Shopping Center at the Rite Aid drugstore. Looking at the image left to right, I believe are Fire Investigator Hill, Fire Investigator Earp, Chief Shaw. A handsome dude that we can see right here. Remember the original picture of Chief Shaw when he was about 8 years of age? You can almost superimpose it on this image, and he really hasn't changed that much over the years. Dottie, his wife, was responsible for many talents, I believe crocheting, doing some painting, and she's also into some poetry. And this is just a poem that she wrote. It's actually be 3 pages, but the Christmas season dream. And this is something that she created and distributed to her friends. This one is part 1, or page 1. This is page 2. And this is page 3. You can see as you read the poem that she mentions quite a few of the fire service personnel that were involved in Chief Shaw's life at that particular time in history. This blaze is in Elkridge. Chief Shaw is standing there to the left, and Chief Claude Sacker of the Elkridge Volunteer Fire Department is on the right-hand side. This is an engine from the 40s that Clarksville had at that time. Standing on the ground from left to right, first person is Blair Shaw, then Dick Shaw, then Bob Marshall, and then Cecil Gordon are the first 4 individuals standing from left to right. Back in March of 1980, there had been a fire at the Patuxent Institute, the prison down on Route 175. We were very fortunate that there were no fatalities, as there was a heavy amount of smoke that had been created by inmates creating a campfire of mattresses in one of the cells. Chief Shaw, you can see, is in the center of the image. And then the top left, on the left is Lieutenant Don Merson, and then to his right is Dale Gardner. Just an image of the Clarksville class of 1951, celebrating its 50th anniversary back on June 3rd of 2001. And as you can see, Chief Shaw is in the first row, second from the left. Is that his hand on some lady's shoulder? He was always the guy trying to pick up women, so I don't know who that women's is, but that's Chief Shaw in action. We had visited Chief Shaw this past Monday, March 31st, 2025. 3 handsome dudes here. Ken Brown standing. I'm leaning over. And Chief Shaw, the honored guest, or honored participant, is sitting in his chair. We had a lively conversation. His mind is as sharp as ever. And it was just a pleasure to talk to him, reminisce, and just have a grand conversation. This is again the Main Street fire, 1985. Chief Shaw is standing on the left, and Lieutenant Jeff King is standing on the right. This image, taken on April 27th, 1977, was of a promotional ceremony where 4 new sergeants were being promoted and given their pins. Standing there on the left is Chief Richard Saul, Jim Lohr, Bob LaBoito, Mr. Cochran, Ed Cochran, Kenny Frazier, and all the way to the right is Jeff King. All these are new sergeants. You can see that Jeff King is proudly displaying his American Red Cross first aid patch on his left sleeve. On September 9th, 1980, just announcing the newest promotions in the fire department that you can take a look at: assistant chief, captains, and lieutenants. Another blaze, not sure of the location, but as we're looking, Chief Shaw with his dress hat on, Marty Lepore standing right in front of him, and then to the right, I believe, is Edgar Schilling. This is an interesting image. This is taken to the then rear of the Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department. That's the building on the right. This is the cistern that was being created to hold water underneath the fire station in times of emergency. And as we look here, the gentleman to the left is Blair Shaw, and the gentleman swinging looks like a sledgehammer is Chief Richard Shaw. But this is the cistern that was eventually underneath the bay, the ambulance bay of the Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department. This is just an image of the dedication of Columbia Station, Banneker Station 7, back on May 17th, 1969. When Station 7 opened up back on May 17th, 1969, these were the officers, the administrative officers, board of directors, line officers that were present. And you can see Chief Shaw is listed as captain at that particular time. This is sometime, I believe, in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s, of members of the Clarksville Volunteer Fire Department. I could spot 2 people. One, Chief Shaw is is standing in the center with a coat and a flashy tie on. And the two other individuals that I can recognize in the top left-hand corner is Bob Marshall, and front row all the way to the left is Cecil Flash Gordon, Chief Shaw himself. The reality is, if you look at this picture and try to remember the original picture of Chief Shaw at age 8 or so, the man hasn't aged that much. Chief Shaw, when he was the chief of the Howard County Department of Fire and Rescue Services, sitting in his office at the George Howard Building. And finally, probably one of his, if not his proudest day in his life, was the day that he married his wife, Ms. Dottie, back so many years ago. That's the chief, the man, the legend, and the chief.
Please use your remaining heartbeats wisely and not waste a single precious one.